3, 2, 1 test. Let's see if the video has gone live on YouTube. This is day 63. Backtesting until I'm profitable. It's 63. Yeah, let's go. Let's get started. I think it's connect. Let me see the connections if are good. Alright, I need to increase the input volume by a few bits. A microphone. Great. Right, so I just want to be backtesting like the sweep market structure shift, and then fair value gap. So hope you'll stay tuned and let's see what is to happen in the market. So I'll be doing it on EU and GU, but later on I'll also do it on the NAS 100. You saw yesterday that we caught really nice trades. So welcome to day 63. Backtesting every day until I'm profitable. So let's do EU. I'll start on the weekly time frame. I'd like to remove any drawings and reset the chart, so you can see that we are having this kind of sideways movement. But later on you can see that here we started to drop. It was like in the end of 2020. It was in the middle of 2021 when we started dropping, and so forward. I'd like to see this price leg right here. So since we are in downtrend, we would like to push higher than the drop. And so far you can see that we are in weekly fair value gap. You can see it right here. So I'd like to mark it. It's a weekly FVG. Weekly fair value gap, and I'd like it to just be visible on the weekly only, just the weekly and the daily. And for hours and minutes I really don't need it. And maybe we'd like to see a small retracement, because we are in a downtrend. So this was a break, then we want to continue to drop to the downside. Good. So now let's go to the daily. Daily, you can see that we are already in that fair value gap, and we are starting to have some kind of rejection. And what I can mark on the daily is that there is also another block right here, which we can tap into fully before continuously dropping, because that wouldn't be bad, which means we would have like a bearish narrative. By the way, I really don't know, I confuse it really much. I'd like to okay, what is the difference between bias and and narrative? Okay, so bias is a expectation, direction expectation. Narrative is why price might move a certain way, which gives meaning to your bias. It's like this narrative is the story, bias might be which direction. It's item frame structure, supply and demand, or which blocks the narrative. Why would price move this way now? Grabs, time zones, skill zones, and so on. No worries. So this means that we are in a bearish bias, and then our narrative will tell us to touch this order block now and then continue to drop. But we'll see how we react since we're in our weekly fair value gap. By the way, does this weekly have another block? I'm afraid not, but I still see that we can drop if possible, but that's on the daily. So on the daily, we can see that we since we need to touch this order block before we drop, we also have some kind of buy side resting on this high, and we took out a lower resting right there. Now going on the 4-hour, you can see that after taking out this row, it started to fly was on a Thursday, and yeah, we'll obviously take out this high and then start dropping at least. Okay, so I think this is a good sweep at mark. Have this nice sweep of liquidity, and it happened while we were in this 4-hour fair value gap. As you can see, the 4-hour fair value gap, we tapped into it, but it wasn't fully. I don't know, maybe it will be clear on the 2-hour. Let's see how is the 2-hour looking like. The 2-hour, it will be this kind of order block like structure, and the 1-hour is it's almost the same thing. The 1-hour would be like, okay, maybe the 2-hour would make it a bit clearer. It would be like this kind of structure, but the order block is in here, so it's approximately, we have this order block here. We reacted to it, but we also had to sweep, you know, a low. So it's you can even mark it here like 4-hour order block. And going on the 15-minute, we didn't show any kind of clear shift except for this one maybe, and we didn't get a retracement. I wouldn't like to go below the 15-minute in these sessions, but so far you can see that, yeah, we didn't get a clear shift in that POI, clear reaction to that POI, and we pushed higher to the previous day high as this day was closing. So what would I expect to see here is a continuation as the next day opens, take out this high, and then later on start to drop. So the only way for us to get that continuation is if we return to OTE of this move, at least somewhere in this zone. That's how the next day opens. So next day opens like this, going on the 1-hour. We have a kind of breaker here, so let's see what London session is to bring. So the only POI where price is this breaker. It's a 1H breaker. And I've got the 15-minute. So let's see what London session does today. Okay, we have some equal lows resting there, and we take out a high before London starts, like it's between Asia and London, and we shift structure, taking out these lows, these equal lows. And then the 30-minute, how does it look like? The 30-minute, you can see it's a clean continuation to the downside, and we were in the breaker, I think. Weren't we in the breaker? Yeah, we were in the breaker. You can see that we're respecting the breaker so far. And one thing I'd like to see, that I'm seeing actually, is that there was a gap on the 1-hour, but I'd like to also change the settings. Okay, you can see that we had this breaker. We're respecting the breaker so far on the 30-minute. You can see, well, we didn't get a fair value gap presented for us to enter, because that's the only way we would have entered. And on the 15, well, no one yet, other than this inversion. This is the only fair value gap that is possible for entry. And as for the sweep, you can see we took out just only this high before we shifted. So let's see if we return to that high. Okay, we don't. Ooh, but we get a huge candle at 8:30. This was NFP, so it's a reaction to this right here. So this is looking nice so far. I'm really liking this, and it's lining with our bias of reacting to the weekly fair value gap. And as you can see, we're trying to start to drop. So back to the 15 now. You can see that NFP didn't provide any kind of entry, but that was a really nice one. So here, let's see if we get an entry. Okay, we return again into this fair value gap formed later, but I'd like to say at least return into this one here. because considering this whole price move from the high here to the low, we've reached midpoint but not yet in OTE. Let's see what happens. All right, now this is the time we are at 9:45. I'd like to go to the 5-minute. Wait a minute, this is the 15-minute. Okay, let me change the color. Okay, this is the 15-minute inversion. 15-minute inversion, and you can see that we already tapped into it. Going on the 5 minutes, let's see how reject, and I'd like to use the 1-minute speed. So you can see we're rejecting already after reaching into that zone, and this is likely must be my cue to enter. And going back on the 15, we're a bit late, but I think here we will have a good entry. The fair value gap resting a few pips above the fair value gap. First target will be here, obviously this low, and next target will be like New York close, previous day New York low or so. But going on the 1 hour, we can just target the OTE of this movement. You can see that we have this right there, so you can just target to reach the midpoint. You can target this midpoint, or even to reach at OTE. So let's go back to 15 and execute. Risking 1%. Good. Let's see how this trade goes. So you get so far a nice drop, but let's see if it continues to the downside. Well, apparently the next day opens, so it's 4x. Holding overnight wouldn't be really a problem for me, but you can see that yeah, it requires holding through the weekend, this one, but it wasn't bad. Let's see if we end up hitting TP. So I think we should protect our capital here. This is London. This trade has run for way too long than we expected. Held it over the weekend. Don't think this inversion can be still holding. Let's close that. But absolutely we end up hitting take profit as the next day New York session comes in. Let's see. Boom, take profit next day New York session. So this wasn't a bad one. It's just that we didn't want to take that risk of holding over the weekend and it becoming a mess. Anyways, so where this analysis is working, and I'd like to add to see some other things, such as, well, I'd like to go to the 1 hour. There's a structure we want to clear. So you can see that we dropped, we've reached OTE, which means at this point market is the one left to confirm. It's either we reject this 4-hour block, because we've already reacted, which means this is a good point of liquidity. We respected the 4-hour block, but now this becomes our next point of liquidity. So generally my bias was bearish, but here narrative was bullish, to just hit the break and then reject. Because the reason it was bullish is because we were respecting this 4-hour block. So we had a bearish bias but a bullish narrative. Anyway, so far it's looking clean. So on this day we're 11. Let's just read price action here and see what it does. So on the 15-minute, nothing much, but what we can see is that we had the accumulation manipulation, shoots up, and then we started to distribute, going to the downside. And as we got the downside, you can see that we took out a high inside of New York, and then we dropped, creating a break of structure, and we have an inversion here, which might also provide an entry for those trading this session. And we also have an internal gap, but let's see if we can reach that inversion. So we don't reach the inversion, but yeah, it is what it is. And we create relatively equal lows here. Really good point of liquidity. Boom, we take it out. Anyways, let's go to just the next day. Ooh, okay, I think this is what I was waiting for, this next day. So another day I started. We're still bearish. We're still targeting these lows as our next draw on liquidity. If we don't jump from this OTE, because this is an OTE level, but since we are reacting on a weekly fair value gap, I would like to see a continuous drop. But wait a minute. Okay, I'd like to see a continuous drop. And okay, that's basically it. So let's see what happens on this day. We first took out these highs from yesterday and we dropped dramatically. Okay, and we took out Asia lows. I think this is London starting out, created a really huge fair value gap. Okay, this will be a good entry to target higher, but that will be a reaction to the OTE we were saying, because you know, coming in here from this low, this high, you can see that we reached into OTE and we started to reject. So if we are to reject this level, it's for a short period of time, maybe return to this order block inside here and then we drop, because I still feel like we're going to drop continuously, and that this will be the place that we push to. So going on the 1 hour, that this will be our only target if we are at least to take this trade. And on the 1 hour you can also minimize it to be this one, like the one to be a 1H order block. And let's go to 15-minute. So this we have a bearish bias, but this is giving us a bullish narrative. Reaction to OTE, pushes into the order block and then continuously drops to the liquidity resting there. So this will be an entry presented in here. We have a sweep, low taken out. We've got a shift because you can see the candles, this candle closed above this recent high, marking a market shift. And you can see that we have a great fair value gap resting here, and in this fair value gap is where I would like to see that reaction. So let's play using the 1 minute to see if we reject. You can see that we are already rejecting that zone, so that's why I'd like to take this entry. Let's see. So the reason I'm still hesitating is because we have this fair value gap resting in here, but we can take this buy. Stop loss will be somewhere there, and I would like to target, you know, this order block and take out these highs from yesterday's session, yesterday's trading day. So I think I'll risk like a half here. If the candle closes below this low, then this is an absolute stop out. We can't take this trade. We will close the trade immediately. I think this is our time to close. Let's see. But all the candles are closing inside the fair value gap so far. Okay, now it's our time to close. It's done. So yeah, no worries. And what can we change from this trade so far? Well, since we have a bearish bias, then this will, well, then that would mean that this is the shift in structure, like inside of these highs here. But let's see how the high time frame is looking like. Going on the 30-minute, you can see that we have the shift would be marked there, and we obviously shift, and as New York started, we start to spiral up. I think it's because of this news on Tuesday. It was I think it's a person from the board of the market, like the federal market people doing all that. Anyways, so far I'm seeing something. Sorry, I'd like to go to the 15. What I'm seeing is we took out the previous session high, the London high, and then we started to drop. So today's day was a kind of a loss, but no worries. So next day has started. I'd like to go to daily a bit and see how we're rejecting the weekly fair value gap. So the weekly fair value gap is still holding. We haven't rejected it fully, but yeah, it's not looking bad. That means that our next draw on liquidity would obviously be this low. Okay, so what POIs do we have on the 4 hour? We have this. Ooh, this is looking clean. Remember, we really want to drop, but we were in an OTE, so we first reacted to the OTE, but you can see that we have a 4 hour fair value gap here that's holding. So this OB was not retraced to, but we have a 4 hour fair value gap that's holding. And looking into the gap, you can see we took out a high from yesterday in the 1 hour, but we didn't get like a kind of a clear shift. Okay, we have a clear shift, but we didn't get like any kind of fair value gap or so. Right, so but we retraced into this one. But was it in? I don't think that will be valid. How is the 30 minutes looking like this? The 45. Okay, so the 45 is providing something more clear. Maybe at least we'd return to this impression here before fully dropping. Let me make it this purple. 45-minute inversion. And let's see what London does. Ooh, clean shoot. You can see this crazy shoot to the upside right here, and let's see if we reject that. Okay, so we don't reject, but instead we take out this highs from there. So yeah, we were on the wrong side of the market, so we can't blame ourselves. So going back on the weekly, let's see, are our setups invalidated? Well, apparently I can say that they were a bit, but it's not bad. We're still rejecting in this weekly fair value gap. Maybe we'll fully drop, but I don't know. Judging by the 4 hour, we can see that we're really are bullish. Okay, let's see if we react at least to the 4 hour, this 4 hour block. So far we are 5, which means this we can still find a trade in the session. Okay, We're in this order block right here from the 1 hour. I'd like to see a sweep inside here. 15 minute hasn't done anything big yet. Okay, retracement into an inversion. All right, this is what I wanted to see. So we haven't taken out any high here, but we are in a POI, and we just had a small sweep. This is the only high taken out that we got. I don't think it's even clear in the 5 minutes. It's not that clear, but 15. Let's see if we retrace into this or this fair value gap. Fair value gaps that are in a good position. Entry. Come on, just provide an entry. It's easy. How does the 30 minute look like? 30 minutes created a fair value gap, which means at least we'd enter off of somewhere here. Okay, we trade into it Asian session, and I think maybe this will be our time to enter. Let's see if we reject. Okay, you can see that we're starting to reject that fair value gap from the 30 minute. Okay, and how's the 1 hour looking like? Tracement into another order block for a drop. So this is where I'd like to trade, but it's in the middle of the night. Wait, it's midnight, so I wouldn't even be up at this time. So let's wait and see. Well, we got an awesome drop. So on London starts here, so I'm basically up at these times. But this trade would have been an absolute banger. You can see the only liquidity we swept was there. We shifted structure here and retraced into this fair value gap before dropping. So this trade will have offered a really nice, movement if we targeted this low, giving us 2.8 hour. Alright, so how does the 1 hour look like? 1 hour is looking nice. Push into the order block, and we start a really nice drop. This is nice. And as London goes on, you can see we're dropping into this zone right here, which is another order block. Since we are in some kind of uptrend, but as a corrective move. Right, I don't really need this, so I decided to hide it. So we're still in London session. Okay, this is fire. We take out these highs from Asia. Let's say if we become bullish, and we end up being bullish as a reaction to this order block resting here. Boom, causing this push we're seeing right there. Whoa, okay, looks like the market's really volatile now. We take out even the highs from the breaker. I think it will provide an entry here, man. I think it will. How about the 15 minute? 15 minute, we haven't shifted other than this low. Was this from the news? Well, it wasn't from the news, but what a banger. That means that the only place we will take this trade is on the 1 hour at least. Because on the 1 hour you can see that we have a clear sweep. Took out these highs from long time ago, and after taking out those highs, after taking out that liquidity, we created a really big imbalance. So maybe we'd get a retracement to that big imbalance and see if we get an entry. It looks like today is a no entry day, but this movement was really awesome. It was an awesome movement for real. The only bad thing is that it didn't provide an entry, but this is awesome. You can see that finally we're rejecting that fair value gap. We took out this low resting right there, and yeah, going on the weekly, you can see that we're finally rejecting that fair value gap, and the daily is the same thing, took out this low. So now our next target will be at least to hit like some kind of POI on the daily or on the weekly, whichever it is. Let's see how the weekly looks like, and then, you know, start pushing higher, which is like maybe this order block or something inside, or is, let's see how clear it is on the 4 hour at least. Well, at least like this order block or the higher one. Let's go on the daily. So this thing here on the 4 hour, yeah, you just want like this zone here to be tapped into before it starts to fly again. Clean sweep, and 1 hour is showing good signs. So let's just wait for the next day because it's already about to be Friday. So next day looks like it's about to come back in the zone, as most of Fridays go. So like 15. So as we come into the day, I think we will like return into the zone, because, you know, when to create a power of 3, we go high, we drop, and then we return back into the zone to create like the lower wick. So this is will absolutely be the lower wick, but we have some equal lows resting here, which means that there's a really good point of liquidity resting there. Right, I think that's enough. So let's see what happens during London. Okay, we take out the lows, and I think it's already London session. Okay, and we continue to drop. We didn't get any like kind of clear sweep or retracement. I'd like to trade just off of the 15-minute, because, you know, it's more clear and less noise. Yeah, I want to reduce the noise, but how about yeah. And London session's about to start. Looks like we will continue to drop. Don't need, ooh, and we drop right into that order block. So this day didn't provide like some kind of entry, because we didn't have like any clear sweep. But let's see. Well, other than taking out the Asian highs and shifting structure and retracing into it for some minutes, I think there was nothing other than that. Yeah, I think there was nothing other than that on Euro USD, but GBP USD would have offered something more crazier. This GBP USD isn't in here. Well, we'll add it on the next one. So we're currently in the POI from the 4 hour. This one right here, it's a 4 hour block, but I think I'll mark this candle just. Let's at least fill and reach this 4 hour block. So the next week, I would like the next week to do some kind of rebalancing, you know, reach OTE and then push. So on Monday we end up reaching into the other block. So this week I target now, a good fly to the good push to the upside, and I think that wouldn't be bad. Yep, that's it. So far we're in the other block. Let's see if we can sweep like some Asia lows, then a push. Check out this lows. So London has already started, and going on the 4 hour, took out this low really nicely. Liquidity, and yeah, that's basically it. Except if we have another point of liquidity inside here, which I don't see. Now let's see if we'll trade the reversal. Because on the 15-minute, we're still in London, so we had the accumulation, the manipulation moved downwards, and maybe we would like New York to distribute to the upside. Oh, come on. So the drop is absolutely continuing. By the looks of it, there will be no opportunity. Back to the 1 hour. Looks like we're about to continue to drop, and by that, thanks to GU, this is our next target. Since overall on the weekly we were really bearish, like why change? Just hit the fair value gap and then continue dropping. So let's just look for souls. And I was about to find an opportunity, but it looks like the market has different plans. So yeah, I'm seeing something as we are in that other block or break a block. It's correct. Well, currently I'd call it a break block. We took out these highs. You can see how clean this candle's closed. Took out these highs, sweep, shifted structure right here. Sorry. Yeah, and this nice fair value gap. Let's make it green. Like the 15 now. I'd like to see a retracement into the gap before we continue. It's 10. Let's see, do we get a retracement? Okay, we get the retracement. Now let's see if we reject. Okay, well, this rejection is the one that we were waiting for. So I likely would like to place my position there. Stop loss somewhere there. And continue to target. By the way, where's the that will be way too far, but this will be our first target. And basing off the fib, well, you can see that we're from this move to this one. You can see that we're in OTE, and if we reverse the fib, or like target there's a way you can use this to make some like kind of standard deviation levels, like the level 1, the level 1.5, and so on. So let me just target someone. We can target here. Let's see, let's target like a 1, 2, 3 on this one. Yeah, I think this will be the trade. So yeah, let's risk 1%. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Look at this. Look at how clean this trade was. And on the 30-minute, I don't think this was too tight, but well, you can see how it went. So maybe the stop loss would have been a little bit, had some place to put it, but then that means that if we target at 1, 2, 3, that means it will be there, and I think it will absolutely reach there. But the problem is that it might be the next day. But still, this is a really crazy target. Ooh. Wicked out and then it goes in your direction. I hate that, man. I hate that. But yeah, it's no worries. And so far, Asia provided another good entry as a retracement. But let's see what POI we will be in here. These zones here, I really doubt that. But going on the weekly, trust me, I think here we're about to continue to drop. It's just a simple Monday manipulation or start of the week manipulation. But this trade is really bad. Okay, it's not bad, but it's really disturbing how the gap was respected fully, but the entries became slightly messy. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. So we turn into the breaker. This breaker block from the 4-hour. And we start to drop. It's still London session, but you can see we took up this high from yesterday. So New York session high. Clear retracement inside there. Ooh, really nice push. Well, I'd like to find a way to position myself in here. The reason would be, well, I have this thing here, return to OTE, and on the 15-minute, we've got some really good fair value gaps here, as you can see. And we got a nice sweep from yesterday's highs here. This was a retracement into, well, we have this nice sweep. We had this sweep, this nice fair value gap on the 15-minute, and the next thing that we had is, well, this was the only slightest small low that was available. The recent low created will be this one, because it has candles that are higher than it. You can see this was the recent low we shifted. So here is where I'd like to place my entry, even though this might be a bit late, because I want it to be kind of nice and target these lows from Monday, which means that the drop would be, well, it's London, it's already New York. That means our stop loss will be somewhere there. Small target here, but it's a really tight trade, because you can see that we were late to the entry, so risk 0.5. I'm doubling down because we had a loss and we need to protect our capital, so I'll take profit, take profit open. So you can see that we're dropping nicely so far. And 30-minute gives a retracement into the gap and some kind of breaker, unicorn. and yeah, the session ends. Come on, I thought the party just started. Let's protect our capital and put a stop loss there. Come on. Okay, well, it ends up shooting higher. Didn't have to take profit, but yeah, it is what it is. Not bad, not bad. Okay, so it returns into the breaker again, takes out the high. The next day is already started, and we have some news on this day. It's 15th June. Okay, what news were these? Because they were absolutely making the market crazy. Retail sales month over month. Great, so we had a shift in structure in the 30-minute, and maybe would like to see an opportunity get presented here. So no, ooh, what's this? Get a retracement at 14, and a sharp point into this gap, but I think we will absolutely drop even into, you know, this area that we were targeting, and we took out this high, we shifted structure and retraced into this favorite gap. So let's see if we reject. That will be my sign to, you know, enter, and we can see that we're absolutely rejecting on the 15 minutes. So why not take this opportunity and trade the whole fall, even though it will be in the PM session. This will be PM session, and obviously stop loss will be like slightly above the breaker, and our target will be just that low resting there. So this is a 1 hour trade. We double down on risk because the last one was a loser. Okay, we're having some crazy losing streaks. Okay, nice rejection so far. The 1 hour, it's like some kind of swing though. Oh, come on, why can't it just hit TP already? This was so close. Yeah, I knew that the next one will take me out if I didn't take my profits here, but why is this the target? I wonder how GU was looking here. I still have no GU. I'll have to add it to the next one. Really disappointed. I'm really disappointed. Look at how close we were, man. Look at how close we were, and then the week just fully reversed. Aish. Such a disappointment. This is such a disappointment. And the week might absolutely end without even touching that low resting there. This is so disappointing. Let's see the weekend. Blah blah blah. Do we drop? Absolutely not just yet. Okay. Let me play on high speed and see. So you don't take out that low. It's playing around it. It creates equal lows, takes them out, and it ends up taking out the low in the next month. But why? So how's the 1 month looking like? So you can see that the 1 month is absolutely bearish, but the weekly is bearish as well. So this is what we wanted. So I think we've already made the analysis get covered, even though in the last section we didn't take trades because we are basically showing what we are looking at in the markets, why we wanted this lot to get taken out to create like a break of structure. So I think that was it for today's session, and yeah, stay blessed. Peace.